Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
And we are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Mob Psycho Season 2, Episode 4. Last episode was really good. It made me feel a lot of different ways. And for the first time, really, Mob has encountered peaceful spirits, right? Spirits that didn't want to be harmed or to harm anyone.
No evil intention at all, even with provoking.
Yeah, and when you're faced with the, I guess, order to get rid of them, it brings up like a interesting question, and it puts Mob in a very particular spot. And I feel bad for him, and I felt bad for him, but luckily he didn't have to kill them. He didn't have to get rid of them. But I'm worried about how that's going to manifest later on in the series.
I think this episode was a definite shift narratively about this kind of, we've had this kind of dichotomy, this relationship of good and evil, the humans being basically innocent, especially the ones that have no psychic abilities, and then the psychics and the spirits being the ones that are causing harm either to people or to each other.
Yeah.
And now in this past episode, we had multiple people, some experiencing some paranormal phenomena and others with no psychic abilities, wishing harm on something without any real, true, valid justification for wanting that harm. Specifically, those college-age kids, I'm guessing that's what they were.
Yeah.
They were like, we don't care if it didn't do anything wrong. We don't care if it will do anything wrong. We think it's creepy. And this is a real shift in terms of making it more complex of like, who's bad, who does Mob, who should he listen to? Who should he protect? Should he always view Reagan's orders and what Reagan thinks as absolute?
Yeah, I think complex is a good word for how the show's going and how the emotions are getting. We also had like the peeper and the energy there. Oh. That was weird. And the idea of cursing someone also. I think Reagan's good now, thanks to Dimple, but who knows?
Part of me hopes it's a reoccurring thing, that this curse, I hope it wasn't just a one episode, one-off kind of thing.
Yeah.
I really hope that this idea of a curse, especially with the how tense last episode was and how pivotal it seemed in terms of like Mob realizing, and even Reagan realizing how many angles are happening in this story, and just how complex Mob's situation is and how his view of the world is. Everyone is basically equal to him. He sees and understands these things more than anyone else ever could. And I would be surprised if the curse aspect was just dropped after this episode.
As well. I would be very surprised. I definitely expect it to come back either this episode or just an episode going forward. And then to top it all off, I guess, we ended the episode with Mob passing out while thinking over the last 2 days and wondering if anybody could stop him if he were ever to go a different route. And I'm worried where that's going to take us to. But I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to keep watching the show. And I'm excited to get caught up before Season 3 starts. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. When was this?
Dimple before Mob met him? Wow.
It seems like he's bringing a bunch of psychics here. Jinra! Jodo. Okay. Okay.
He's running a legit business now.
Okay.
この中に娘を救える方がいらっしゃるかどうか。
Is she possessed?
ここから先は どうぞ内密に。私の娘朝霧みのり14歳です。には悪霊が入ってしまったのです。それを退治していただきたい。
かすかに醜悪な気配がするな。どれもすぐ近くで。
くれた者には特別な報酬を用意する。
よーしなあモブ、お前にもボーナスやるよ。ボーナス初めてだ。
勝手に決めるな。それにやらせろ。じゃんけんで決めるというのはどうでしょう。
よし、俺はパーを出すぞ。あ、
なんだその宣言は。
ああいうやつなんだ。
パーなの、チョキなの。
I love that a member of Claw that left is here.
レーゲンは優勝した。
すごい。
娘をどうかお願いします。
ああ、
Reagan's a talented man.
対面の素人がケアするのは厳しい。あくまで霊能者としてだけ。なんで閉じ込められてるのかわかる？
最近おかしいのよ。
He's the one possessed.
少し前から私を閉じに縛り付
Look
け
at her fingernails.
怖い顔で睨んだり叩いたりもするの
そん
よ。
な。いや、強く叩いたりなんかは。
連れてきては私の体をベタベタ触らせたりもしたのよ。何かに取りつかれたみたいにおかしいの。
Oh.
気もあったかもしれないけど。
I feel like she is possessed right now. She's just smart,
私は正
外してくれない。痛くてしょうがないの。
psychic.
あの子は正常じゃよ。
浄土様もそう思いますか。
お前ら依頼人に何言ってんだ。ありゃたちが悪いぞ。黒だ。子供と会話してる気がしなかった。あの子に騙されたやつは帰った方がいい。まんまと取り込まれるぜ。パパと言ったりお父さんと言ったり。俺はただ話をしただけなの。
Facts.
彼女は俺を霊能者と呼ぶ。こっちの会話が筒抜け。
What?
師匠、俺は大丈夫だ。
This is really creepy.
Yeah.
Look at the red.
Does Dimple recognize it? Why did we see the clip at first?
This is so cool. I love this comic drawing. With the screen tones.
このままだと出番が回ってくるぞ。ウォームアップしとけ。
お前らも名前くらいは知ってるだろう。野上刑事。
知らない。この商売を始めるときに参考にした一人だ。
So it's the psychic that Dimple met all
Yeah.
that time ago.
霊能力者として各種メディアから引っ張りだこだった。あくまでタレントの最上刑事だ。
The
奴は
entertainer.
ある時を境に独自の呪術による暗殺だ。治療費と十分な設備が必要だったんだ。
His followers, Dimple was the leader.
Absorb you?
取り込むって何吸収してる。
It's kind of like what Mob was doing to Teru in episode 5.
やっべえ、飛んでる。
He's trying to become a vengeful spirit.
連中に分からせてやる。恨みとはどういうものかを。一度に悪霊食らいすぎたよ。逃げたか。
I wonder if Dimple was like stronger here than he was when he fought Mob.
Maybe.
ありゃ本人だよ。
How did he get into this girl's body, though?
全くじゃんけん。
Jodo.
お願いだ。
Okay, has some real abilities.
勉強にな。
おい、教えてくれ。こいつのどこが大物なんだ。
Oh my god.
Hell yeah. Anti-possession jumping knee strike.
いや悪霊、最上刑事。私を知っているのか。何が目的で女の子に全部ロリコンだと。止まらない。
Is Mob not strong enough?
もうやめな言ってやるから。
It seemed like he was trying, right?
Oh my god, did he?
嘘だろ。肩は温まってるか。はい。やるしかないのはわかります。
Holy shit. That was no body double. You know? That was real.
Real death.
Yeah.
私も多少は腕。
Nice. Oh.
誰かはわからないが優れた念動力域以上動かすことはできない。人形の関節を
Oh, he's gonna be willing to really hurt the girl.
あの子の体が解決にもならん。
Can he remove? Oh god.
笑ってるんだ。解決はするよ。
It's him.
お前を消す。こっからだ。なんてビルなんだろうあれ。見たことねえ。子供かと思ったらなんてパワーだ。良いどころか融合しかけてる。失敗した。状況がもっと悪くなりました。モブより強いってのか。はい。
Is this gonna take Mob going unconscious?
Jesus.
待っていたんだ。成仏できなかったら改めてよろしくな。
Well, that's comforting.
そうか。内側から悪霊を追い出せば。
Oh?
Dimple!
幽体離脱だよ。
No way!
だがその間お前の肉体は無理。幽体になった。
Dimple can take over
Yeah,
Mob's
Mob's.
body to keep him safe.
やるしかないんだ。少しの間。
What
This
trust?
is everything. I mean, this is what Dimple wanted.
Yeah.
どういうことか分かってんだろうな。
久保を信用するのか。きっと大丈夫ですよ。
It's probably the only choice, actually, to get out of there alive.
まず意識を失わなきゃ。ちょっと変わったか。
Can he do it on command?
いや、自分を変えようとしているのか。おお、すげえ、俺にも見える。
Come on, Dimple. He protected his head. Oh! This is so weird to see. He looks so different.
Are we gonna go inside the mind?
What is
This
happening?
is so cool!
自我は残っているのか。ここから出て行ってください。対話をしに来たんじゃないだろう。世界だからな。姿形の思考が反映される。
Mob sees himself naked.
勝負しようじゃないか。
I love the blue outlines.
This is so cool.
すべないか。 霊能力や超能力がどこから湧いて出るか。とどめを刺すよ。感情だよ。すべては感情が生むものだ。感情だ。
Rich and varied.
What if he goes 100 in here?
君はもう超能力を使えない。さっきの君の多くの感情が波打っている。まだわからないのか、罠にはまったことが君を受け入れたんだ。幸せに暮らしている人間と苦しみにもがいている人間、感情が育つと思う？正解は後者。より強いのは負の感情だ。内に秘めたエネルギーは恋。その点を踏まえれば変わることができる。世界の見方を少し。
It looks like the face, doesn't it?
ここでは普通の中学生だ。超能力も使えなくしてやる。言えば世界は別物だ。その上で
超能力の使えないき
What? Okay, that was Mob Psycho Season 2, Episode 4. That took me down a road I did not expect.
There was so much I loved. That actually might have been my favorite episode so far.
Period?
Period.
In Season 2 or both?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'm just going to say it's my favorite episode out of all of them. Because I don't have all the other ones in front of my face in a revolving circle in
It
my
is
brain.
definitely up there for me.
But it's definitely up there. Gosh! So what is this, like, not like Truman Day?
Truman Show?
Truman Show, Groundhog Day, like some type of like psychological experiment where he's living back into the world but in a kind of controlled environment by someone else. Like, this is insane. This is insane.
He's gonna act the same, no? Without psychic powers? How can you can alter someone's memories?
Not only alter his memories, but basically put to the side his psychic abilities.
Yeah.
So what is this? Just an experience? He said that he wanted Mob to gain a perspective.
Yeah.
So does that mean he's going to release Mob from this eventually?
Maybe depending on what he does in this fake world.
I mean, like, it opens up the question of if psychic powers come from extreme emotion, if Mob, with his psychic powers being removed by this man, were to enter a very stressful, very emotional circumstance in this controlled experiment, would he then get his powers back? Similar to Ritsu.
Is Mob going to be a completely different person because now without psychic powers, he doesn't have to suppress his emotions?
Oh, that's going to be depressing.
It's going to be so depressing.
Because once he learns, like, once he has memory of both, he's going to see that he was able to so freely express himself in this experiment, and it's probably gonna break him. He's gonna wish even more that he didn't have psychic powers.
What if, like, okay, shot in the dark, if that's the route they go with it, and we see him happier, right? He comes out of it, a few episodes later, he realizes he doesn't want his psychic powers, and he goes to Claw to try to get them to take them away from him.
Can Claw take his powers from him?
If they could enhance or potentially activate something to give someone psychic powers, then that would be his best shot at getting them taken away, I would imagine.
Yeah, just part of me would believe that the only way they could do that would be to kill him or something.
Yeah, but I was like just, thinking out loud. That was...
I could have never guessed any of that.
No, not at all. The visuals in this episode were absolutely astonishing. I thought the animation was really, really good too. The way that Mob was drawn when Dimple took control of him was really interesting and very different than how Mob usually looks.
I mean, the trust that you have to put in there, but it's almost like there was no other option other than to trust that Dimple could protect the body. Because it's not like they could get out of this building or protect everyone else without Mob making this choice.
Yeah.
But I have trust in Dimple.
I do too. I'm glad that Mob does as well.
And it seems like Dimple, I mean, did you read what he said? He called it his body.
Yeah.
But it almost felt more endearing than don't hurt my body. It felt like
yeah.
It felt a little bit possibly more like caring, and not like he was now calling this his body because he got what he wanted. It definitely felt sweeter than that.
I'm probably wrong, so I'm prefacing it with that. Was that the first time we've seen death?
We've seen things that I wasn't sure were a definitive end.
Did Mob kill the kids in the flashback of when him and Ritsu were getting beat up?
No, it seemed like just definitely injured. And then when we
There's
think
blood.
back to Claw having kidnapped all of the kids, and I believe they had definitely hurt some people in that.
Yeah.
But I think I vaguely remember a comment that everyone was still alive, even though they were unconscious.
Regardless, it was very shocking to see it here, and just kind of like I was shook.
We had the ramp up, though. I mean, last episode, all we were talking about was this extreme kind of evil in humans.
Yeah.
And it's like, it went there, and it was like, yay, now we're going to talk about some really serious, horrible, dark stuff that's buried deep within humans. And then we're just going to jump off the cliff into probably what I'm thinking is maybe the most intimidating, how is this not going to span the rest of the season, villain?
Yeah.
If Mob can't even beat him.
Yeah.
Like, so readily.
I don't know what to expect going forward, to be honest. I really don't.
Mob's being faced with an example of him.
Yeah.
Like, Claw is an example of psychics that use their abilities for evil, but this is an extreme example of someone like Mob.
I thought that they, like, resembled each other a little at first. Mob and Kaiji. Or KG. But the whole facing... Okay, first of all, Mob having the idea to do the out-of-body experience to try to repossess the body was awesome. I didn't even know that was on the table, and it makes so much sense that I was really happy to see it. But the whole face-off in this body, in this world or plane, is so cool. Like, visually, too. Like you said, the blue outline, it's so cool. And, like, the blood and just I loved it. I loved it.
So what was the issue? He said a line that it was a trap that he showed the man how he visualizes his powers, and that's why KG was able to get rid of Mob's powers.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm truly, completely processing how that works at the moment.
It was a lot and all at once.
It was a lot all at once, yes.
I
was also very emotional about Mob getting stepped on his face, and especially naked. I mean, he's already vulnerable.
You can't use ESP anymore. I was gauging how you picture your powers earlier. Quite impressive. All kinds of emotions are raging inside of you, but for some reason, you willingly play the part of a puppet. You still don't get the fact that you fell into a trap. I let you in on purpose.
It was a little easy for him to get in.
Yeah. People whose lives are filled with happiness and people who live in eternal suffering. Which do you think harbors strong emotions more easily? Yeah. I mean...
Well, we do know that happy emotions didn't help Ritsu get his powers.
Yeah, but just because something comes more easily doesn't mean it's more fruitful, you know?
Or doesn't even mean it's stronger in the end.
It's just more easily accessible.
Kind of like the cheap way out.
Yeah.
Instant gratification. Negative emotions. We had an overarching theme in this episode of change.
Yeah.
The word change was said multiple times. Mob is... I don't know if it was just alluding to Mob going through this change of experiencing the perspective of not having powers anymore. And purely just that, kind of very straightforward. Or if change is really there's going to be a deep within Mob change, and that's what I'm going to guess that there's going to be.
I mean, we've been alluding to it. Reagan had a line that said, did you change, or did Mob change, or is he trying to change?
Yeah, I wrote down, is he trying to change himself?
Yeah.
Because that's, I think, what Reagan said earlier in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then the episode ends with bringing up, can we go to the end after he turns into a crow, spying on him? Because there's a line about, a change in perspective can make the world a whole different place.
That's true.
I'll be observing how you act without your powers. That might have been it.
Yeah. I mean, in episode 1 of the season, Mob made the decision to consider his feelings more. So it's definitely taken that idea and ran with it.
He's trying to change himself this season. And this is definitely a lot of ammo for him, material for him to develop who he wants to be and how he wants to use his powers. I am so very excited.
Part of me
honestly.
feels like next episode there's not going to be any action and it's just going to be all slice of life mob without ESP.
Which is so interesting to go like, because then we, the viewer, are just watching. It's like the Truman Show,
Yeah.
the movie, like a situation where you, the viewer, know that this person is in a controlled experiment, and you're just watching how they live in that experiment and wondering if they'll figure it out,
Yeah.
hoping they figure it out.
I'm so
so that they
intrigued
can
to see where
get
they
themselves
go.
out of it.
It's so interesting. God. I'm really excited to continue. But we had that also like the cool little scenes like the manga panels.
That was my favorite graphic choice for this
Yeah.
episode, was when all of the I feel like if they had just shown us the psychics in their form that we see normally in the show, trying out their methods to exercise, I don't think it would have been as entertaining as seeing that switch to the black and white with the screen tones.
Agreed. I love Mob's like spirit form. It is like the coolest, cutest thing
So
I've ever
cute.
seen, and I kind of want it as a tattoo. It is
It's pretty
awesome.
adorable.
Yeah.
I could see you with that as a tattoo.
So cool. But great episode. Animation was great. The storyboard, everything was great. I'm ready for next episode though. You good?
Yes, I'm really, really excited. It feels weird to be so excited when it's definitely like not a great thing that's happening.
Yeah.
It's definitely a negative.
I'm just intrigued.
But it's exciting because of how compelling this twist in the narrative is.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.